me wrong, as a farmer, I love this rain. It's been great. But as somebody trying to build a house, and it's just got mud everywhere, we got mud and water in our footers back here. So now we got to get that thing cleaned out and get it pumped off and get it squeegeed off. That way we can get the ICFs lined up and put them on there. So we're going to keep on trying to work today. It's going to be muddy and a mess out here, but we're going to try to get this set up. That way we can pour the ICFs hopefully this next week. Getting ready to put our ICFs together, but we got to do a little bit of changing on here. So these ICFs, we got them from Menards. They're really great. You can see that they flow down flat when you're transporting them, but when you need to set them up, you just open them up wide like this. But what we need to do is we need to make a notch in here. That way when we set the floor, it's going to be on here. And then also, if you come in here, look a little tighter here, you can see these little knobs right here. We want a nice flat area when we're pouring the concrete, and you can go through and break those things off, but we're just going to use our reciprocating saw here, and we're going to cut those off. So I'm going to go back up, Cam, and we're going to show what we're going to look like. So we're going to take that right there, and this is the ending results of what we're doing. As you see right here, I took a 45 on this back side right here, cut those top little castles off the top of there. Those are meant for the edging where when you're stacking these forms on top of each other, more than one, that they lock together. Well, we don't need to lock them together because this is the top run. We're only doing one layer of 16-inch ICFs. And then we also, you see here, we cut a line all the way across here, and then we had to cut these risers. Now we still get our rebar in here, and we can still hold them. Then what we're gonna do is, once we get it all out there on the form, we're gonna take a 2x6 right here, and we got a 2x4 there. We screw them together. This is just a mock-up board. We're gonna have them 16 footers, 12 footers, whatever mixed in there. And we're gonna sit there and set this thing up right there. We're just gonna have a little bit of overhang. We still want 6 inches of a wall sticking out the top, but we don't want the extra wall. And this way it'll give a little bit of a spot where the concrete floor will sit on top of the concrete, and it'll sit on top of this foam right here. When we pour the floor, it'll be right into this notch, and it'll be right close to the top of this level of our wall right here. And then our posts are gonna sit on top of this wall. And Paul from Mr. Post Frame is actually who gave me a lot of this idea, so I appreciate Mr. Post Frame and Paul helping out on this. But this is what we're planning on doing, and we've got a lot more to do, and hopefully you guys stay tuned. Well, we got the measurement down here from our 5 inches, a little bit proud of 5 inches. We're gonna go ahead and mark this with the straight line here with the level. Awesome. It doesn't take much. I mean, you're just mainly making an indentation inside of the styrofoam. Circular saw, if you want to use proper terminology, but it's not thick enough to make it all the way through, but it does make it a little bit easier to get the reciprocating saw when we need to finish that. So we're going to hold this and get this in. Okay, that's all we're doing on that side. Again, it's not going to cut it all the way through, so we're going to set it up now. And it does make a lot of styrofoam mess, so be prepared to do that if you're going to do this. So now I'm going to take my reciprocating saw, and I'm going to cut. This is the outside, so you got to make sure that these things have grooves on either side. They got like a male side and a female, so there's the male, female, and you got to make sure that you got everything doing the exact same way on each of these things. Otherwise, when you go put these forms together, the little joint's not going to go together, and then you have to use wood or something like that to join them together. So you want to make sure that you're using the same direction on each side. Make sure once you pick a side that you're doing it, make sure it's turned the same way for all of them. Now I'm going to cut this thing off. Cam, you hold that side. I'm going to cut these little, what I'm calling little castle tops, but that's just the joiner to join multiple layers. We don't need that though. All right, now we're gonna go through and cut our tabs here. We got, we've already kind of know we're taking off half this tab right here at this level, so. Now that I got that done, I'm gonna come around on your side, Cam, and I'm gonna go and cut it the rest of the way. You hold the other side. Put a little bit of down pressure on here before I cut it, okay? There you go. And this is the leftover stuff that you don't need. And then now, our joint, again, like I said a while ago, this is going to fit in here just like that. And we'll screw this thing down onto this foam, and then we'll, then we'll be able to have our 6 inches that our posts are going to be sitting on the inside of that. So appreciate you guys following through. We got a lot of these things to do. We only got like 100 more of these things or more. So stay tuned here. We'll get the rest of them finished. Look, it's snowing in July. Oh my goodness. Nah, just kidding. It's just styrofoam. I'm about ready to be done with cutting the styrofoam, but we're getting close. We only got a few more to cut, so stay tuned. We're continuing working on our ICF walls. This right here, what we're building, is considered an inside corner. So this is going to be inside of the garage. This is where the concrete pad is going to come in and sit on top of this right here. So we had to go and cut this corner down. Now a typical corner, let me go get another corner right here, is a little bit taller. Excuse the mess. So typical corner is going to be a little bit taller, like we have here. So you can see that right there. So when we get a little bit farther here, I'm going to show you how to do an outside corner. But right here, we got the inside corner. We cut it off the same as what we did in the inside of our ICFs. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a L-shaped board in here. That way it'll hold the concrete inside of here, but give us at least minimum 6 inches inside of the top of the footer foundation wall here. And we're going to continue working. So you put these little zip ties that they include with this form set, and you just drill holes. And so the next wall is going to be an L shape. So it's going to come down this direction right here. Sorry, it's going to come this direction. And then it's going to then go up the front wall. So I'll show you here in a second what it looks like. We've got a few of the corners built. We're just going to continue building the corners. We are dealing with the water, so my son is over there vacuuming all the water off of the job site. So we'll hopefully get that done here pretty soon. But we're trying to get these ICFs all set up and ready to go when we get there. So stay tuned. All right, let's get our next ICF. Again, this is going to inside corner. We're going to move it to the side. We'll finish that up when we get very close to get to the building. Now we're going to build our next outside corner. So this is going to be an outside corner. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and cut the tops off here. I call those my castle tops. Whoops, I got a little bit too much on there. Awesome. Okay, make sure that we're going the right way. So yep, there we go. The male sticking in there. This is the female side, so we're going to use one of our short ones. So you cut these in half. That way those liners fit exactly where they need to be. And let me see if I need to cut another one in half to get it ready. So just 1 second. Find where the centers on these things are, because they got lines right on the forms. And you can kind of tell, like right there's that line. So I don't even have to measure. That's really awesome that they kind of set this up to be like that. There's that side. There we go. And the piece I need is going to be this piece right here. So we got a couple of pieces that we might have to use as spacers anyway, so those are ready to go. Again, to keep going with the same format here, with metal coming in this way, so this thing will lock right on here with this little Lego piece, which is awesome. And then we got the zip ties in here, so we'll go ahead and pull those things out. If I can figure out which way they go. There we go. And then once we get that on, then we'll turn her around here like that. And then I'll make sure you guys can see what we're doing. But then I put a full piece on this side over here. I should have made my work area just a little bit bigger. So again, I'm trying to keep all those metal pieces on the right side. Once you get that, I'll make sure you guys can see what we're doing. So let me make sure the camera's in a good angle. Bring a couple of zip ties with me. Can you see what I'm doing over here? Yeah, you should be able to see at least this first one. So it's got a hole already on here. All you have to do is drill another hole, and you want to make sure it catches the plastic on the inside of this thing. So those little plastic tabs on the inside go straight across. You got the lines on the outside, so you know exactly where the tabs are at. There you go. Once you put this thing through, it'll lock these forms together really tight. Now what we do, we'll probably still come back and put some boards on some of the joints that we have. That way we'll get those things pieced in there really good. So we'll get that. I'm going to come on this side, that way I'm not in front of you all the way. Make sure I get that level as best as I can. Okay, there we go. Good and tight. Snip that off. Now we'll work on this back corner. Do the exact same thing. Find where the tab is going to be at. Drill a hole. Now I could have punched a hole through something. This styrofoam's not that hard to punch through, but just easy to just drill through it. And you just make sure you pull these things good and tight. That way concrete's not going to cause it to expand. Now it's going to make it expand a little bit, but you want to reduce that as much as you can. That way your building doesn't grow on you. There we go. So, like I said earlier, we're dealing with rain. As a farmer, I'm loving the rain, but as a construction, trying to build this house, it's making it really, really tough. So we're hoping that we get this dried out. We're just going to keep on doing this work right here until we get the footers dried out enough so we can put these snap some chalk lines, square the building the rest of the way, and then put these ICFs on there. And then we're hoping to build. Now on this inside corner, let me pull the camera around here, let you guys see the inside corner. This, I mean, it's not an inside corner, but I mean, it's the inside of the setup. So again, there's no pre-drilled holes here. This is going to be hitting form to form. Again, you want to go on the inside of these plastic areas. So you just come in here and make sure you stay to the side of the tab. And then the same thing over here. Here's the next tab right through here. And again, there's lines on the outside of the form. So I know you probably can't see them in the camera, but just make sure you're staying on the inside of those lines. Then we're going to send this thing through the exact same way. Here, and I'm going to do I got that hole just a little low because it's going to hit right where my plastic's on the inside. So that's another thing to consider whenever you're putting these things in. Make sure there's these little plastics on the inside. Make sure your holes is above or below that. That way you're not, when you put the zip tie in there, it's not going to hit one of those holes. Unlike what I just did. And again, you want to line up the inside of these things on the inside. Now there's going to be your little tab on the inside that's going to show up. That's okay. But mainly you just want to line up the square side of the form. And you want to make sure it's good and tight and level. I'm sorry, I'm going to be in front of the camera just for a second. And you want these good and tight. That way it doesn't separate and expand out. And then you might have to get your form set back up and get it straightened back out. So there you go. There's one of the corners. I appreciate you guys following along. Again, if you guys don't mind, like, subscribe, put some comments out there. If you guys done something different or some helpful tips, as we're going through this, the next thing we're gonna do once we get the ICFs, we're gonna get some gravel piled in there, and after we get the gravel piled in there, then we're gonna probably start building the outside wall structure. So again, this is gonna be clear span building. So the whole outside walls, the roof, everything's gonna be built, and then we're gonna come in and build the inside of the house after we do that. So that's our plans. I appreciate you guys following along. Until next time, God bless you all. All right, folks, well, we got our first side of it started on our ICF. We haven't got our inside board in here, and we haven't got all the rebar put down in there, but once we get the rebar in there and we put our board in there, we'll get it straightened out. There's a little bit of a bend here and there on that thing, but not too bad. I appreciate you guys following along. Again, we're just going to keep doing this and trying to get this thing done, and hopefully we'll have it done this weekend. So a little slow pace here, just two of us working out here. If we had more help, it'd make it a little bit faster, but I appreciate you guys following along, so stay tuned. Well, you guys might not be able to see it, but it's pretty dark out here. We try to get a really good work on here, and just with a couple people, and we're just not able to finish this off. We got all of the ICF. You can barely see all the whiteness on there. We got all the ICF in there. We got to come in and put some 2x10s on this side of the footer to hold the concrete from that side. And then we got to cap off all the ICFs. And hopefully you can see this, but we're putting like a little bit of an L, a little bench on the top of the ICFs. I'm sorry, my knee is going out on me. So we got some of it started. We just got to finish that off, and that's gonna have to probably wait till after my knee surgery, which means we might not be able to come back out here and start working for a couple weeks. So I appreciate you guys following along. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, follow me, and then hopefully whenever my knee gets better, you guys will be able to see some more progress. Until next time, God bless you all.